Well, we'd like to welcome the Fourth Estate to the headquarters of the Mano River Union Youth Parliament Liberia chapter. This is a joint press conference, a live press conference with the three national youth institutions, the Federation of Liberia Youth, the Mano River Union Youth Parliament Liberia chapter, and I would like to say that this conference, though is not, we don't have a representation of Linsu, but is endorsed by the leadership of Linsu. We do not have a prepared text, but we've come to speak on the arrest of national youth leaders in Grand Kru County. To be specific, Honorable James H. Reader, who happens to be the youth representative of the young people of Grand Kru to the Mano River Union Youth Parliament. He's our chairman on youth and sports. He's also the coordinator of the Federation of Liberia Youth in Grand Kru County. We've received reports from our colleagues, the Deputy Speaker of the Mano River Union Youth Parliament, the President of Linsu, Mohammed Gandhi Kamara, and other youth leaders who are currently on a tour in the southeast to do training of young people in the fight against COVID-19, and they ran into a situation where Honorable James Reader and other young people from the Liberia Election Observer Network have all been arrested and are behind bars for what is still unclear to the youth and students community. We've been told that James and others were arrested after a protest organized by other young people in the county, while results from the recently concluded senatorial elections in Grand Kru County was being tallied. We've made contact with James and the other colleagues. They have told us that they were not part of the protest, but the police have accused them of being behind those who were protesting outside of the tally center. And because of that, he and the other colleagues were arrested. They have not been charged according to him, and they've been kept behind bars since Wednesday, which is a violation of their rights. It's past 48 hours, they have not been arraigned to send to court. So we've come, the President of FLY is here to bring to the attention of central government that these national youth leaders are behind bars, and we're disappointed that whatever the situation is, charges have not been brought to them. They've not had access to lawyers. They have not been fed, and their condition is in a very dangerous situation. We fear for their lives. We believe that any forms of violence after elections are wholly and solely condemned by these institutions. At the same time, if people who are national youth leaders are observing elections or whatever capacity, their rights should be protected. James has told us, and we believe the leaders, that they were in no way in support of any form of violence. So if whatever the case is, I think the best thing to do is for them to have access to their lawyer, who have made several attempts to have them billed. Those bills have been denied. So the President of FLY is also here. He will speak, we'll take questions, and then we can provide more information as it goes on.
So thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me join the Speaker of the Mano River Union Youth Parliament to say that we've come to express our frustration that since Wednesday, the coordinator, who's considered as the national youth leader in Grand Kru County, who superintends the youth and students activity in Grand Kru County, has been behind bars since Wednesday. He has not been allowed to be billed. This morning, I spoke to the commander. He informed me, yes, that he has turned them over to the court as we speak now, they've not taken bath, they've been denied food. And we think this is something that as we move towards the period where we as young people are beginning to be the custodian of the peace, we should not have a situation where local county authority, and part of the information that is frustrating for us, that we're hearing that these people are acting on the orders of some leaders at the central office here in Monrovia, and we think it's appalling. We believe that if there's anything, there should be all reasons why this youth leader can be allowed to have the access to the lawyer and that it can be billed. We're glad that we had a chance to have the president of the Liberia National Student Union, Linsu, who was on the ground and managed to make some efforts to see whether he could have them released. Up to this time, local authorities are denying this youth leader bill, and we think it's something worrisome. We're at the point where we begin conversation talking to the stakeholders at central level to see reasons why, understanding deeper the facts around why these youth leaders cannot be released at this point in time. Where we are as a country, we are concerned about the peace, we are concerned about keeping the peace, and it is our allegiance to the peace that we want to keep. So we think local leaders should not be acting on the project to provoke a situation that will lead young people to a point where things get out of order. We're calling on the Liberia National Police to do as much as they can and to begin to intervene in the situation. I placed a call this morning to the director of police. His phone rang endlessly, he didn't answer. I managed to also talk to the deputy director of police through placing a call as well. The deputy director of police too has refused to answer our call. From here, we'll be making an effort to reach to the police beginning of seeing what effort we can make from central office level to have these people released. But it's unfortunate that they are behind bars since Wednesday. They've not taken bath, they've not had access to food, they have not had access to having a lawyer to have them released. We are concerned, and we think this is something that we needed to speak out to save the image and protect the well-being of these youth leaders.
Yeah, let me also say, let me emphasize that we're making frantic efforts from our end here in Monrovia at the headquarters to make sure that these young people's rights, can be protected. We've reached out to the Minister of Youth and Sports, who also has said that he's going to make efforts in contacting the police to find out what the situation is. As we get additional information, we're going to keep pursuing it, and we can provide further. But as it is now, we're concerned about the health, the safety of those young people who we believe were, carrying out their national responsibility. And we are now calling on national government to please get involved as soon as possible, so that these young people can be released and turned back to their families. Whatever court procedure, we believe that it can be pursued through the course of the law. And we want to remain peaceful. We want to call everyone to remain calm. But at the same time, these young people's rights should be restored in as soon as possible time. Thank you very much.
I'm Jito Nukori. I come from Pram FM. My question to you, any of you can answer. Does your ethics forbid any of your national youth leader, your focus person in the county, does your ethics forbid them from participating in political rallies, supporting political parties or candidates?
Well, let me start. Under the constitution that governs the Federation of Liberia Youth, FLA is a non-political organization, but at the same time, individuals who are members of the Federation have their individual right. What the institution calls for is that you cannot act in the name of the institution doing political rally, but you can go to a political rally as a person and carry on your constitutional and civil duty. So we've not gotten to the point where we believe the widow has violated the constitution of the Federation. We are at a point where we still believe that widow has done nothing wrong in violation of the constitution of the Federation. So that is why we stand to protect him. We're calling for his release, and we're calling for his protection. He and all other national youth leaders who are in Grand Kru that are on arrest at this point in time.
I want to clarify that this situation did not come as a result of a political rally. I understand your question whether our members are able
support political candidates.
Of course, everybody under our law has the right to affiliation. we have a statute of the parliament. I can also say that James Witter has not violated the statute of the Liberia Youth Parliament. As a matter of fact, you are aware that the Federation of Liberia Youth is part of the Liberia Election Observers Network. And along with James are other young people who are also part of that network. So the fact that there was a tallying process.
We were told that you were representing a particular political candidate.
We need to clarify whether that is true. But the fact is that James has told us that where they were doing the tallying was in the NEC headquarters. Now, the quote-unquote riot or protest took place outside of the headquarters. But the police is saying that those people who were protesting were incited by those guys who were within. And we believe that these are independent. Okay, let's forget about James Witter. What about the independent observers who were also arrested? I also understand that Charles Coffey Bill, one media practitioner, was also arrested, and he's still behind bars. But what we're saying is, whatever these young people have been arrested for, their rights should be protected. It's past 48 hours. Why they have not been, given the opportunity to see a lawyer? Why they have not been able to eat? Why they have not been able to take bath? And the information coming from the police commander from Grand Kru is inconsistent with what we have. He's saying that they've been arraigned from court. That is not true from the information that we got. The president of Linsu called in this morning. The deputy speaker of the Liberia Youth Parliament, Daniel Mills, and all of the national youth leaders are in the county. They've told us that that is not the situation. They've not been arraigned in court. So how can you say the correction people have there?
Network up to the time before we could get to this point, we were told there were approximately 5+ persons, young people who were in the custody of the local county authority in the county. Let it be clear that what we're saying is that if whatever crime they have committed, we want the due process of the law. We want them to be arraigned before law. But as it is right now, they've not been having access to a lawyer. They've not, the 48 hours has passed. They've not been taken to court. They've been denied food. They are behind bar. And this is something that we think we needed to speak to national authority on these concerns. We've spoken to the police director of the county who has given us conflicting information. When I spoke to him this morning, he said that he has turned these people over to the court. And then I got information from on ground that the police is still having them in the custody, and the police is acting on local authority instruction. So we think this is something that is of concern. We need the rights of these young people to be protected, and we need them to have access to the lawyers. We are prepared to providing the lawyers for them, and we want the local authority to take them before the court. If they committed any crime, let them face the law. That's what we're calling for.
And finally, just before we take leave of you guys, what happens if your calls for the release of your leaders in Grand Kru falls on deaf ears?
First of all, we're very optimistic. We don't come to this with any form of negativity that is not going to be resolved. These are national youth institutions, and people know how we operate when it comes to our affairs. We do not want to think that national government is going to take this lightly. These are serious-minded young people who have contributed to the development of other young people across the country. But in a case where we have a bottleneck, or we notice that there is a political interest in this, because all efforts to reach to the superintendent of the county to find out, because we understand that there could be some political issues, but we don't want to get involved with that. So that's why we're reaching out. But we will take every legal step to make sure that Honorable James Witter and other young people who have been, because we still do not have clarity as to how many persons are behind bars. We're aware of at least 5, but we do not know the particular details of these people. And because of the urgency of the situation, the emergency, we had to come to the press. But as we get additional information, we're going to release them, and we're going to pursue every legal means to get these young people back safely. Thank you very much.